Hello guys, it's Revolution. In this video we're going to be talking about whether or not Cell Max, the major antagonist from the Dragon Ball Super superhero movie, whether or not he is stronger than the God of Destruction Beerus. So let's get straight to it. So with Cell Max, obviously his only appearance is the movie itself. This was his debut. So basically he only really has one continuation that can basically be shoehorned onto the end of all three continuations that we know of. The movies, the anime, and the manga. Beerus seems to have three different depictions in all three continuations. So obviously the movie continuations are quite simple. Beerus, we get to see him perform in Battle of Gods. We know he's stronger than Frieza in Resurrection of F. In the Broly movie, whilst it does reference events in the manga such as the Tournament of Power, we obviously don't get that information or context provided from, say, the anime or the manga, as they were two different adaptations in the movies, so we don't know what particularly took place there. But it is stated in the Broly movie that Beerus is, well, or should I say Broly is probably stronger than Beerus, by Goku himself at the end of the movie, likely referring to Super Saiyan Full Power Broly. Obviously Frieza also states that should Broly get his mind in control, that no one will be able to beat him. He's likely referring to mortals, and we know that Frieza has encountered all the mortals he fought against in the Tournament of Power. Make your deductions. Then of course there's Dragon Ball Super superhero. Beerus doesn't do anything, he kind of just wakes up and has a discussion with Goku, Vegeta, Broly and Whis. Not really much context is given about Beerus' power in that movie, so that's where the movie line kind of follows on from, but is very contextless. Does the Moro arc and Granola arc take place in the movie timeline? I imagine it will do, but we don't know that for a fact yet. It was kind of left open. I believe this was stated by the director of the movie that this was purposely done so it would fit all continuations. Of course, the anime, a lot would argue, presented Beerus in a very different fashion to the manga, and obviously it's hard to say in comparison to the movies because it wasn't really covered that much in detail in the movies. But basically, there's a huge argument to say that Jiren from the Tournament of Power was stronger than Beerus, and therefore thus so was Goku when he attained Ultra Instinct and ultimately beat Jiren. The main point of contention that people often use is the fact that in episode 92 we stated that it was Belmod who beat Beerus in an arm wrestle, or sorry, I should say implied it was Belmod due to events that occur later that we find out it was most likely Belmod beat Beerus in an arm wrestle, and obviously Beerus is stated to be stronger than his God of Destruction, Belmod. Do a bit of maths and obviously that would essentially mean that Jiren is stronger than Beerus as well, if you believe arm wrestles in Dragon Ball are an indication of battle power. There are some people who believe Whis was joking and doing it in jest just to wind Beerus up, or some people believe that he was serious. Obviously there's guides that go on to suggest that Beerus hasn't necessarily been surpassed later down the line. The argument in the anime rages on. Some people believe Jiren is stronger than Beerus, some people don't. Some people believe that as the Broly movie follows the Tournament of Power and Beerus gets upscaled with Broly, as there are multiple guides stating Broly is the strongest, and with Beerus only being probably weaker than Broly, according to Goku, then obviously that would scale Beerus up, which I guess you could say would support those who argue that Whis was merely joking in episode 92. However, that's irrelevant for obviously what the title of this video is, but I'm just trying to give you an idea on where Beerus' power lies in the three continuities. But obviously Dragon Ball Super superhero also serves as a continuation of the anime as well, and basically in the anime, Vegeta states that Jiren's power wasn't necessarily that much higher than both his and Goku's. I'm going to assume he was meaning Super Saiyan Blue Evolution and Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken for the anime specifically, but the fact that he has great utilization of his power and great efficiency with his power, it made that difference seem overwhelming. Basically, ultimately the way Jiren operates and conducts himself in combat by going from 0 to whatever he needs to in a split moment, as Vegeta notes, and Whis commends when Vegeta notes that aesthetically it makes it look like Jiren is just oozing dominance, I guess. And he was dominant, but the context is given in the Dragon Ball Super superhero movie, and obviously the writer of the Dragon Ball Super superhero movie is Toriyama. We'll get more onto that Obviously, the light novel of Dragon Ball Superhero says that they were actually on par with Jiren with Super Saiyan Blue. I find that hard to believe personally, but it is in the light novel. I believe that Jiren was stronger than both of them in their strongest blue forms, Blue Kaioken and Blue Evolution, and then the additional efficiency made the difference seem overwhelming. But who am I to argue with an official source material? Now obviously this is relevant because, like I said, if Beerus gets upscaled with Broly from the Broly movie, the fact that Jiren wasn't necessarily overwhelmingly stronger in terms of raw power alone over Goku and Vegeta without the use of Ultra Instinct, Broly definitely was. Whilst I personally believe that Super Saiyan Blue Goku had the edge over Akari Broly, I don't think it was a huge difference. But when Broly attained Super Saiyan, it became a huge difference. When Super Saiyan Gogeta turned up and Broly adapted to Super Saiyan Gogeta's power, it became more of a huge difference. When Broly became Super Saiyan full power, that difference extended even further. And obviously he took some big blows from even Gogeta Blue. And we know that there is not a small difference in power between Goku Blue and Vegeta Blue and Gogeta Blue. The difference between them three is enormous. And by the way, that's not me putting Super Saiyan full power Broly at Gogeta Blue's level. I'm just saying he did manage to hang in there somewhat, and you could argue the fact that Gogeta went straight to Super Saiyan Blue despite the fusion time limit means that Broly probably would have been able to compete with the likes of Super Saiyan 3 or Super Saiyan God Gogeta levels. Obviously we'll move on to the manga now. This is the most complicated one. So obviously Goku and Vegeta get vastly stronger since the Tournament of Power. We know that in the Tournament of Power, Jiren was able to run Ultra Instinct Goku quite close, to the point where once Goku burnt out of Ultra Instinct, Jiren was left fighting on par with two base Saiyans, who you could say were exhausted themselves. Yes, Jiren did still have more power, he was able to recuperate power quicker than them and obviously started dominating again, but that's how much his power dropped after that particular sequence of events against Ultra Instinct. Obviously come the Moro arc. There's a lot of debate as to whether Moro surpassed Jiren. Personally, I lean to the fact that he does, but what I am definitely confident about is that Goku, with his Ultra Instinct in the Moro arc, surpassed his Ultra Instinct from the Tournament of Power. He had training from Beerus for 6 months in the time chamber. Beerus noted how, after his training, Goku's Ultra Instinct would be better than before. Even Beerus made note on the improvement with Goku's Ultra Instinct. And of course, when Moro became Planet Moro, Beerus was about to get involved in the fight himself. Obviously there's a lot of debate on that as to whether Beerus was going to do it himself or aid Goku, assist Goku, etc. As far as I'm concerned, for him to do either of those things, he would have had to have been at that sort of level to be able to achieve that, because there was a lot of other warriors there that weren't at that level and were pretty much hopeless. Then of course we have in between the Moro arc and basically the events of the Granola arc, which are basically still ongoing, but of course we do get a bit about Beerus at the beginning of this arc when Goku and Vegeta are training on Beerus' planet. Goku's training with Ultra Instinct with Whis. Vegeta's learning how to use Hakai with Beerus, but before that, Beerus mollywops Super Saiyan Blue Evolution Vegeta. It would be safe to say that this Super Saiyan Blue Evolution Vegeta was vastly stronger than the one that fought Jiren, so his comments in the Dragon Ball Superhero movie, which you could shoehorn into the end of this particular continuity as well, apply in this specific instance. And obviously Beerus, using a small part of his power, basically wowed Vegeta, who had obviously seen Moro in action, Ultra Instinct Goku in action. Place as much value on that as much as you want. I'm just putting it there for you to evaluate. Then of course, after a bit of training with Beerus, Whis states that there's nobody out there in the universe that is as strong as current Goku and Vegeta. Obviously Goku with his Ultra Instinct and Vegeta with his Super Saiyan Blue Evolution. He could use Hakai, but not to a great degree. Obviously this was pre-Granola wish to become the strongest in the universe. So of course, Broly is in Universe 7. That means Broly as well. Surely, right? Well, at the time I definitely did agree. I definitely did agree that it included Broly, but I'm not going to say it's definitive, but there's new information that's come out that does support the idea that at that time Broly could no longer turn Super Saiyan. He has no control of his power, and of course that happens in the superhero movie as well. We see that Broly has no control over his power, he cannot control his rage. It's unlikely that he's trained, and obviously this has been a few years since the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie in Superhero, so can he use Super Saiyan anymore? Or if he gets control of his power and can turn Super Saiyan full power, like Frieza states, he would be unbeatable. And even obviously Goku thinks he's at Beerus' level. Let me know your thoughts on that down in the comment section, guys. In terms of the manga, obviously with Beerus, that's as far up to in terms of inclusion of Beerus in the storyline so far. But just to add to that, obviously Vegeta achieves Ultra Ego. Vegeta does also mention that he isn't able to reach that God of Destruction power. He's likely referring to Beerus' power that Beerus showed him earlier. I think the context is there from the earlier training. And also obviously we can look at the God of Destruction tournament to look at Goku's comments on his evaluation of Beerus' power. I know there's a lot of discussion going on around that. Some people believe that Beerus is relative with all the other Gods of Destructions. Some people believe he's vastly stronger alongside Quintella than a lot of the other Gods of Destructions. I personally lean to the idea that Beerus and Quintella are the two strongest Gods of Destructions, and they are by quite a margin. Maybe some of them are close, but not all of them. And I think a battle royale, the nature of a battle royale, allows weaker fighters to somewhat stay in the fight. Anyways, I've done a lot of talking about Beerus. Well guys, in terms of Cell Max, there's just not as much. We know that he was too strong for the Gammas. Two characters who Piccolo notes in the movie are as strong as Goku and Vegeta. Obviously this depends on continuities again into who he's referring to in terms of transformations. And like I said, it's likely that all these arcs and movies will be put into the continuation of all three continuities. We just don't know yet. They weren't a match for Cell Max, neither was Orange Piccolo, even though he did put up somewhat of a fight, and Toriyama has stated that Orange Piccolo is at the level of Goku and Vegeta. Like I said in my video about Piccolo potentially having Zalama power in the future, it's a theory video guys, Piccolo is likely at Ultra Instinct and Ultra Ego levels of power. That's my personal interpretation of it. Let me know yours. Obviously, Gohan Beast is even stronger than Orange Piccolo. He is the one that defeats Cell Max. But Toriyama did state about Cell Max that the reason he was able to be defeated was the fact that his mind wasn't under control. He was just a raging monster. This is what Toriyama himself, the author of Dragon Ball Super Superhero, the author of the Dragon Ball franchise itself, has literally stated. If Cell Max had been completed according to plan, he would have been a superhuman who even Broly couldn't defeat. Once again guys, Broly's been used as a benchmark there. But since he was forcibly activated, he became an uncontrollable monster. So guys, what it's implying there is that if Broly did fight this incomplete version of Cell Max, that Broly would have beaten Cell Max. However, if Cell Max had been completed and had his mind in control, even Broly wouldn't be able to defeat him. See how it's Broly used here, not any of the other characters. However, Beerus isn't used here either. But depending on whether Broly's got stronger since Dragon Ball Super Broly or not, obviously we can have our opinions on that. It doesn't seem like he's been training. Who knows? Who knows what will be added in the future? But as of the information we have right now, it does not seem like he's had any training. He hasn't got his rage under control. And it appears that Dragon Ball Dave's theory that Broly can't turn Super Saiyan anymore could be right. And it would make sense within the narrative of the manga, given Whis' comments to Goku and Vegeta. But if Beerus scales to that Broly, then of course, Beerus would beat Cell Max, as we saw in Dragon Ball Super Superhero. However, if Cell Max had been completed, a lot of people like to call it Perfect Cell Max, I think that's quite a good name personally, then obviously it may be a different story. I think Cell Max would definitely have more raw power than Beerus. He would have more raw power than Broly, he'd have more raw power than Beerus. However, whilst Broly might not be able to defeat a perfect Cell Max, Beerus has a lot more in his arsenal than Broly does. Beerus has partial UI, he has destruction energy, which we know allows them to be unbounded and grow stronger in battle, pressure point attacks, even abilities we've not seen yet, some undisclosed abilities that we could see in the future of the Dragon Ball Super franchise. He has all of this in his arsenal, which means he could find a way to beat even Cell Max. Or should I say, perfect Cell Max. Now guys, the reason I went through all the 3 different continuities, obviously we know the films are written by Toriyama almost exclusively. There are some other people involved, but they're mostly written by Toriyama. The manga is by Toriyama and Toyotaro. I know a lot of people think that Toyotaro has the wheel. Toyotaro's at the wheel. Hope you get that reference. But ultimately Toriyama is heavily involved. There's lots of meetings that go into this production of the manga. You know, he is heavily involved. Then obviously there's the anime where he sends basically the skeleton of a script, then multiple different writers at Toei adapts that skeleton of the script and add what they want to. But the ultimate point is that Toriyama is the driving force behind all of these scripts. If Toriyama states that something is going to happen or change, even if something was seemingly different before, whatever Toriyama's given now takes precedence. He is ultimately the A1 source of Dragon Ball. Now you could say this is movie hype, but personally I don't see why he would state this stuff just to hype the movie. And I do believe that this movie, along with the Moro arc, the Granola arc, and even maybe the Broly movie, will be adapted for the upcoming anime. The 2 movies do take place in the manga. Obviously we know the Broly movie does. I do believe Toyotaro will include superhero as well. And obviously the movie timeline is a timeline unto itself. So Toriyama's statement about Cell Max applies to all 3 continuities. Basically, this guy's a strong motherfucker. Anyway guys, that's all for this video. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. I definitely look forward to reading your answers. Make sure you subscribe with the bell button clicked on. There's lots of Dragon Ball content coming, lots of verse battles coming, so make sure you subscribe if you like Dragon Ball verse battles. Until next time, Ad Astra.